Greetings, beautiful ones. I pray it is well with your soul. As part of structuring your days according to your ways, we will be embracing part 4, known as Well Within Wednesdays, the How Clean Is Your House edition. This episode is a little longer in time, but definitely worth the listen to the end. So make sure you have the time before engaging. Before we start cleaning, I just want to give thanks and pay homage to my late partner, Weldon Akwesi Robinson. Our first date wasn't a romantic meal, a walk in the park, or an evening out. Instead, it was a trip to 2 well-known alternative therapy health stores. This came about after having a conversation with him about sickle cell and how it affects me. And he took it upon himself to prioritize finding alternative treatments for me. Weldon also wasn't concerned about makeup and all the things us women do in the name of beauty. What mattered most to him was how well I was on the inside. And actually, as human beings, this is what is most important. We have a natural tendency to focus on appearances when we meet people, but anyone can look well on the outside and be unwell on the inside. Some people look appealing to the eye, but when you get to know them, they are selfish and mean and only think of themselves. You may rate a 10 out of 10 for looks and swagger, but behind it all, you may find no real sustenance at all. Some people may appear to have it all, wealth and plenty to say, but behind closed doors, it's a different story, as it was all a facade and all for show. For whatever reason, many people can wear masks and not represent their true, authentic selves. Some do this to protect themselves from judgment, whilst others may hide behind it because of learned behaviour. When Weldon first passed, it took some time for me to really understand why our paths had crossed. But as time went on, I realised that he was sent to show me what true, unconditional love feels like and looks like when you're loved from the inside out. So thank you for the love and the lesson, and may your soul continue to rest in eternal peace. time to get the dusters out, the fibre cloths, some pledge polish, some flash floor cleaner, and all the other cleaning products needed, such as faith, discipline, obedience, and mindfulness, whilst we take a moment to see just how clean is your house. By viewing your body as your home, you can create a sense of appreciation and responsibility for its well-being, promoting a more balanced, positive, satisfying life. Remember, your body really is a temple which should be treated with respect and care, similar to how one would treat a sacred place. We must all prioritize our physical health, nutrition, and overall well-being, but should also be extending this to our mental, emotional, and spiritual care in the hope of promoting and enhancing holistic wellness. The act of cleaning one's house is often considered a mundane chore, yet it carries great significance that parallels the maintenance of our physical body. Just as our living spaces require regular attention to remain comfortable and functional, our bodies demand care and upkeep to thrive. This episode explores the interconnectedness of cleaning our homes and tending to our physical selves, reflecting on how both practices contribute to our overall well-being. Now, there really is no shade here in me asking the question of how clean is your house, as my house at one stage looked very clean, but it wasn't. I had to start the process of dusting the cobwebs. I had to get out the Dyson and even get down on my knees and clean the skirting boards. As a sick to the cell warrior, I've endured a lot of physical pain, but added to that pain was some emotional trauma which had been stored in my pelvic area for decades as a result of storing the emotion of grief after losing my mum. I read that you can release this type of emotional pain and trauma by means of somatic therapy, which is a type of mind-body therapy that focuses on releasing pent-up stress, tension, and emotional trauma. My heart kept telling me it wouldn't work, so I still have some cleaning up to do by means of putting it into practice. I personally witnessed what I believe to be the effects of untreated, suppressed emotions and trauma when a very close and dear relative of mine was diagnosed with an advanced brain tumour. This occurred several years after losing her son in what appeared to be weird circumstances and having no closure. When I say weird circumstances, to this day, no one knows the actual cause of death. We need closure when it comes to certain life events. If not, we can end up carrying these emotions within our bodies. This is why it is so important for each and every one of us to deal with how we feel. Now, I'm no doctor, but I am a registered nurse. However, this next part is by no means a physical diagnosis of any health issues that one might have, and is only in reference to the human body and how it can store emotions in various areas. So starting from the top down, I will briefly highlight how the mind and body are interconnected and how emotional trauma and mental thought patterns can manifest as physical pain. Headaches and migraines can naturally be due to stress and tension, but can also be linked to overthinking and distrust. Dry eyes can be associated with resentment, whilst heavy eyes can be due to sadness and grief. Neck pain can be associated with a lack of forgiveness or inflexibility, whilst shoulder pain can be as a result of a negative attitude or a lack of joy. Stress can lead to poor posture, such as hunching or tensing the jaw, which further strains the muscles in the neck. Your spine is divided into 3 regions, leaving out the sacrum. So the cervical, which is the upper, thoracic, which is the middle, and lumbar, which is the lower. Pain or discomfort in the upper region could be related to feeling unloved, a lack of emotional support, holding back love, or perfectionism. Whilst thoracic pain can be related to guilt, feelings of being stuck in the past, and insomnia. Financial issues, a fear of money. Not sure that anyone fears money though, as we could all do with some more cheddar. And buried emotions can all be related to lower back pain or discomfort. Ever experienced any elbow discomfort for no apparent reason? This could be associated to resistance to change and stubbornness. Any issues with your hands and wrists could potentially be linked to an inability to connect with others and isolation. Problems with our core, known as our stomachs, including digestion issues, could be associated to grief, anxiety, and anger. Moving on down to the pelvic area, suppressing emotions, buried emotions, and unhealed traumas can all reside here. Hip pain or discomfort could be as a result of heartbreak, sadness, anger, or a fear of moving forward in major decisions. Fear, inflexibility, or a refusal to give in can all be associated with discomfort in the knees. Calf pain can be linked to jealousy, feelings of unworthiness, and tension, whilst uncertainty, resisting, and lack of pleasure can affect the ankles. And lastly, being hard on oneself, negativity, and depression can all potentially affect the feet. Now you may be thinking, what is 𝑖𝑎 talking about? But just think about it for a moment. Our body movement can be a reflection of our inner world. By understanding the interconnection of our mind and body, we can be more conscious and have a better awareness towards changes in our life experiences. Let's briefly take a look at some messes within our homes. Some messes can be self-inflicted. For instance, I once had a lengthy discussion with a professor who explained that it takes around 15 years for the lungs to repair themselves after a person stops smoking. I'm sure if we could see our lungs and the damage caused by smoking, we would all potentially stop in a heartbeat. I'm talking about cigarettes, tobacco, and everything laced with chemicals, and not the pure herbs that keep you calmer and make you smarter. I'm sure if all those who suffered heart attacks as a result of clogged up arteries, if they could have seen the slow build-up, that they may have made changes to their lifestyles. We don't get a second chance. We can look one way on the outside and not know what's really going on inside. There are some messes that can't be cleaned so easily or at all, like advanced cancers. Those cells are very intelligent, as they can hide themselves within a person, showing little or no symptoms, and then the next minute they've metastasized and have infiltrated your body, and even then a person can still look well on the outside. Then there are the messes that others may have made, such as abuse, whether that be verbal, physical, emotional, or mental, but it left an impact upon you and affected you internally, externally, or both. Something that we should all be responsible for doing or put into practice is checking oneself, whether that be on a daily basis, weekly basis, or monthly basis. Perform surgery upon yourself, and if you find any fractures, dislocations, sprains, or diseases, then use the necessary tools needed to repair yourself. If your house is clean from top to bottom, excellent. But for those that need to do a bit of cleaning, let's start the process, starting with our windows. There is nothing better than looking through clean windows, because if your windows are dirty, you can't see through them properly. When you look outside your windows, what do you see? Are you looking out of the window of jealousy, or are you looking out of the window of envy? If you are, then take out your window lead, because there are a couple of smudges that need to be cleaned. Are you looking out of the window of lust or inadequacy? Then that's another smudge that needs wiping away. Looking at and comparing yourself to others is also a reason to wax on and wax off. This is why social media can be potentially misleading and damaging, especially for the young, as what they see can be impressionable to them, and what is portrayed is not always the real deal. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eye is good, your whole body will be full of light. Matthew chapter 6, 22 to 23. This verse emphasizes that your focus and inner values determine the light or darkness that fills your life. So keep your windows clean at all times, letting the light shine from them. There are some doors that look good on the outside but carry damage on the inside. Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. Ephesians chapter 4:29. When you open your door, what comes out of your mouth? Words can either bring destruction or nourishment. Remember, death and life are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 18:21. Our words can be used to build up, encourage and inspire, or they can be used to tear down, hurt and destroy. Sometimes there are the lies we tell ourselves, the lies of doubt and of fear, or not feeling as though we are enough. It is important to speak over yourself, as it is a great way for enhancing your mental and emotional health. Take note of any narratives you may tell yourself, especially when you feel negative emotions or face challenges, and replace them with truths. Do you ever find yourself getting caught up with gossiping, telling white lies, or speaking untruths? Then get those 𝐺𝑟𝑒𝑒𝑑 out and start cleaning. If chatting about people is your thing, because let's face it, we all know that there are some who graduated with a master's in gossip, then start to wipe those doors down. Maybe they need a coat of gloss to rid any discoloring. I'm just trying to keep it real in a nice and diplomatic way. So check your door before opening and closing it, as you don't want people turning away from knocking at your door because of what's on the inside. Now let's go to the kitchen and see what's going on in there. We all know that it is good practice to keep your kitchen tidy at all times. The saying, "You are what you eat," really does say it all. Why do you think the elders are so strong? One of the reasons is because of their diet. Diseases like diabetes, which is one of several diseases, continue to be on the rise. Lots of women and men are realizing more so now than ever that certain foods is not for we. The food we consume should act as fuel, nourishing our bodies, helping us eliminate toxins, paralleling the way a tidy home can alleviate stress and discomfort. If you have a sweet tooth, it's time to get out the Mr. Muscle oven cleaner, as sugar is one of the biggest culprits, with many hidden effects of sugar on the body. Did you know that sugar can be as damaging to the liver as alcohol? Ease up on the spirits also. They are called spirits for a reason. Heart attacks and strokes are becoming the norm in a young generation. Now, I don't know how many of you had the trapsination, but, and I will leave it at that before come looking for me. The last decade has been a real eye-opener to the lengths that the wicked ones are prepared to go to. Anyway, as I said in the opening sentence, you are what you eat. So be mindful, very mindful of what you are putting into your bodies. Those days of large plates full of starch and salt should be long gone, and we are sweet enough without the sugar. But also be mindful of the bioengineered products flooding the markets, as we are under attack. Nothing new there. So keep your kitchen clean, making sure that what you consume is indeed soul food and not food to destroy your soul. Proverbs chapter 23 verses 20 to 21 warns us against excess in eating and drinking and the negative consequences. Okay, now this is where some may find a lot of tidying up is needed. It's time for open heart surgery. So let's go to our bedrooms, the place where intimacy dwells. Emotions and feelings. My bro made me chuckle when he said, these women are all up in their feelings singing, I don't want no scrubs, and can you pay my bills? These women may have a point, but on another note, and this is for the men and women, do you struggle with trust or forgiveness issues? Have you been hurt by someone and as a result you can't seem to forgive them? Has a betrayal left you unable to trust? Do you carry any resentment within you? Emotions, emotions, emotions. In looking at togetherness, many women and men are choosing it to go alone. And what do some put their decision down to? Past experiences. Previous cats gone and messed things up. But as Soul Child sang, I'm not to blame for the pain. Holding on to certain feelings after a breakup can potentially have significant physical effects upon the body. Our heartbeat is what keeps us alive. You will notice how I sometimes refer to lyrics from songs when expressing my thoughts. I do this because music is life. Bruised and broken hearts can mend, so examine yours. If you're struggling to deal with past or present emotions, you could try burning some sage to clear any negative energy or emotional blockages, cleansing yourself and or your space. Work on removing all the feelings that prevent you from trusting, or that prevent you from forgiving, or that prevent you from moving forwards. What did Leandria say? You gotta let it go. You just can't carry the load. Just so your heart can be what? Free again. Don't give up on finding your soulmate, as there is a world out there. And I do believe that there is someone out there for everyone. In becoming your own cardiologist, you will know when you're truly ready for two to become one. If, however, you're happy not to be in a relationship, that too is fine also, as I'm hearing more and more women and men talking about wanting peace. No one has time for drama. MJB stated that way back in 2001. And ain't no one got any time for stress and noise, as there is enough of that outside of our temples. Your relationship with your Maker will give you that peace that surpasses all understandings. And after all, this relationship is the most important, and everything else after that will be. For those in relationships, it's best practice not to confide in every one of your friends about your relationship, as some of your friends' windows may have smudges, remember. Furthermore, if you have any relationship issues, if you can't talk to the person themselves, even though you should be able to, but if you can't, as we know, communication, as in open, honest, transparent communication, needs a lot of improvement, then take it to your Waymaker first and foremost. Okay, sometimes you may want to vent or get things off your chest and want an instant reply or response, but narrow it down to those closest to you. You don't have to tell Keisha, Letitia, and Ray Ray. Healthy relationships consist of respect, trust, honesty, open communication, and so much more. Congratulations to all the true lovers in the house. If you've done 10, 20, 30, 40 plus years or more, keep doing what you're doing and continue to keep your castles intact, as everyone loves a good love story. For those in situationships sailing on uncharted waters, Barbara and Barry expressed this so intensely when they sang, and we've got nothing to be guilty of. Our love will climb any mountain. And even though we all sing the lyrics because the song is a beautiful classic, is it right to say we have nothing to be guilty of when caught up in a love affair? Of course it isn't, as there are consequences. Guilty pleasures are a dangerous thing. Millie Jackson expressed this dilemma that some have experienced, whether directly or indirectly, with so much truth. Love is a dangerous game to play when you're not playing by the rules. The 7th commandment states, "Thou shalt not commit adultery." With the Old Testament days seeing it as such a serious offense that death was the penalty. So avoid these types of situationships at all costs. Okay, moving on swiftly as we're still cleaning up in the bedroom. Let's move on to the big P. No, not Puff Daddy. Well, it could have been. My bad. I did say no shade. No, seriously. The big P. Pornography. This one is for all the secret lemonade drinkers out there. Now, I know you may think that a little porn does the job, and it may well do, but it also plants the seeds for addiction, unrealistic expectations, and a distorted view of sexuality. Some studies suggest a link between porn use and erectile dysfunction. So be careful, gents. Whilst another study suggests that masturbating can significantly reduce the risk of prostate issues such as high PSA levels. I truly do empathise with the need to empty your sacs, gents, as blue balls is real and occurs after sexual arousal that does not result in orgasm. So just a suggestion for any secret lemonade drinkers, maybe switch to just using an essential oil. For all you men thinking, what is 𝐴𝑞𝑢𝑖𝑎 talking about? Of course, I know there are different strokes for different folks, and ultimately the choice is yours. I'm just the messenger, so don't shoot, please. For all the singleton women out there, refraining from having physical intimacy for whatever reasons has its pros and cons, as a lack of physical intimacy can lead to skin hunger and touch starvation, whilst the benefits of abstaining can include greater clarity of thought and increased focus. I know sometimes you may just need to release some of your pent-up non-sexual tension, and there is nothing wrong with a little, I was going to say bump and grind, but seriously speaking, there is nothing wrong with masturbation if that's your thing, as we know this can reduce stress, elevate your mood, and enhance the understanding of one's own body and sexual responsiveness. But if possible, again for the lemonade drinkers only, masturbate without adding in any visuals. Toys are still in fashion for grown women. Cindy's and Barbies have been replaced by rabbits and bullets, so again, the choice is yours. In the Bible, the Song of Songs celebrates the beauty of female sexuality and the pleasure it can bring, and encourages couples to enjoy intimacy, including sexual expression. So be creative and expressive with your other half. Imagination is a wonderful thing. Well, I hope your hearts and private parts are feeling a little lighter after that clear out. Let us swiftly move on from getting physical to getting psychological, as I'm sure we all have that cupboard, drawer or closet in our home that is full of clutter. If you don't, well done, but if you do, it's time to clear it out. It took me a hot minute to sort mine out, and I'm glad that I did. A cluttered cupboard to me is like a cluttered mind. You open the cupboard to get something out and quickly force it shut because you just can't deal with the confusion. It's a bit like shutting off mentally when you can't deal with a situation or a stressor. However, every time you open the cupboard, the clutter is still there. Even if you refuse to open it, the clutter remains. It's just behind closed doors, which parallels the way our thoughts can affect us if we don't clear them. Clean and organized cupboards can significantly impact our mood and productivity. Clutter can overwhelm our senses, mirroring how neglecting our physical health can lead to feelings of lethargy and discomfort. Engaging in the act of cleaning can be therapeutic, as it provides a sense of accomplishment. It encourages mindfulness and creates a control over our environment. When we invest time for self-care, whether through exercise, meditation, or healthy eating, This nurtures our mental state, leading to improved focus, reduced anxiety, and enhanced emotional resilience. When you wake every day, use Philippians 4 verses 8 as a positive mind enhancer and cleanser, remembering whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely and admirable. Think on these things and these things alone. Cleansing our bodies represents a refreshing start, a chance to let go of the old and welcome the new. This mirrors how personal growth requires shedding unhealthy habits and adopting new, positive ones. By decluttering our living spaces, we create room for new experiences and perspectives. Just as taking care of our body opens us up to greater vitality and potential. In conclusion, the act of cleaning our homes is much more than a chore. It is a reflection of how we care for ourselves. The parallels between maintaining a clean living environment and nurturing our bodies illustrates a holistic approach to well-being. Both require intention, routine, and a willingness to prioritize health and comfort. By recognizing this connection, we can have a greater appreciation for the ways in which our surroundings influence our physical and mental health, ultimately leading to a more balanced and fulfilling life. So remember to check in with self, and most importantly, keep thy house clean. Anything you do, do it well, as the aim is for wellness within our souls. I hope this summer solstice cleanup was of benefit. And if you're feeling the vibe, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Feel free also to check out my full body scan meditation. Peace, light, and love. 𝑖𝑐𝑢𝑖𝑎.